see the work, get more done, unlock more time, more money, and more freedom.
Join us as we explore the challenges and power of making work visible. Welcome to the Visible Workplace Podcast with Dr. Tom Raleigh.
Now, let's get into today's episode.
Well, welcome back to the podcast and the show today. We're going to look at an interesting problem that you may well have and you're not really sure what to do with it. The problem that I want to talk about today, well, it is a strategic dashboard. What's a strategic dashboard? I'm glad you asked. This is the ability for you to see everything going on in your business. And this is quite a difficult problem to look at. It's like, well, how on earth could I possibly see everything going on? There's so much happening. There's so many people doing things. I can't see. And yet this problem leads to a host of other problems that we'll look at today. The outcome of not being able to see everything is a difficult situation that you face. And this is that you think you have less on than you actually do. You think you have less on than you actually do. Now, this means that when an idea comes, when something catches your eye, when a bright, shiny object signs up and says, oh, look at me, because you can't see everything that you actually have on, you go, great, we can go after that. We can devote resources to that. But you cannot. It's a little bit like having bills that you haven't paid yet. The bills have been incurred, and yet the money sits in your account. And you go, wow, I've got $1,000 there. But in actual fact, you've got $300 worth of bills that you haven't paid yet. You're thinking 1,000. The actual reality is, unless you're not going to pay those bills, is that you have $700. Exactly what we are dealing with here. When you look and you can't see all of the work, you can see some of the work. You're like, oh, cool, we've got capacity, but you do not. Because just like the $1,000 versus the 700, you think you've got 10 units of resources, but in fact, 15 are consumed. You're like, oh, cool, we've got 5 more. I don't know if that analogy worked. That wasn't the best maths of all time. Let's go with the actual number. Let's say you've got 15 actual things going on, but you think you've got 10. You've got 5 more things that are going on in your business, but you can't see them because you don't have a strategic dashboard. You don't see the backlogs of work. You don't see the resources that are currently deployed. And this means that you also don't solve the right problems. You see, if you can't see everything going on, then what you do see may well be a problem, but it is only possibly a subset of the real problem. And you're like, okay, great, we're going to fix this. But it's based on partial vision. And so when you go in and you create a solution like, let's get this fixed, but it doesn't work. Why? Because you didn't see the whole picture. You didn't get everything. And this is very challenging. It's a little like a heart. A heart? What is this analogy, a heart? Well, in our bodies, our heart pumps blood, and it pumps it every day, a couple of times every, I don't know, what is it, 60 times a minute, up to 100 times a minute. So once a second, beat, 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 beat. This heart is beating. And it's keeping up with all the work. But if that heart backlogs and it stretches and there's been some injury to it and now it can't pump as much blood, you will get a backlog that causes problems in the body. And this is the same situation as not being able to see. It's like, oh, there's a backlog that I can't see. Why are we getting these symptoms? Because you're not seeing the whole picture. This also allows a terrible disease. You may be familiar with it. It is called entrepreneurial ADHD. Entrepreneurial ADHD. Is that really a disease? No, it's not, but it is a symptom of entrepreneurs and business owners getting excited by marketers And marketers have been masterful at this to say, hey, you have a problem. But do you really have a problem? Or do you just think you have a problem? Or you're not sure if you've got that problem? All of these, again, because you can't see what's or everything going on. And you're like, oh, maybe I do have that problem. And this marketer is saying, hey, yeah, you might have this problem. And if you think you have this problem, have I got a deal for you? And you're not sure whether you have that problem or not. So you say, yes, I'm going to buy in case I've got that problem, or I think I've got that problem. And you buy, and most of the time, not much happens. One of the issues is that you underestimated how much effort it's actually going to take. Much like not seeing the overall amount of work in the business, when you buy and you're like, oh, wow, this seems to be a problem I've got, and I'm going to buy the solution, but you underestimate how much work there is to actually get it done. And when you don't see how much work you've already got going on, you say yes, and then you try and implement it, and suddenly you find that the reality is it's a no. Why? Because you had less resources than you thought you did. There was more going on in the business than you could see. There's another issue here, and that is that there are things going on in your business that shouldn't be. And once again, because you can't see them, guess what happens? They don't get stopped. They don't get culled. So we've got a lot of problems coming out of one essential problem, which is you don't see all of the work of the business. And I mean, I literally had this myself. I bought a book. It was a great book, wanted the book, and it was a book funnel. And if you're not familiar with the book funnel, the next thing after you buy the book is a much more expensive offer. You've just proven that you have that problem. And even though the book's not been read, they're making an offer for a higher ticket offer. In this case, it was a $10 book or $10 shipping and a free book, whatever it was, $10. And then the next thing was $197 for 5 different systems. And I'm sure they're wonderful. I'm sure they're perfect. I'm sure they're very, very effective. But the question that came to me is, do I have the capacity to implement these? Do I have the capacity to implement these? And the answer was no. And therefore, buying this upsell was not a great idea. It may well give me more knowledge if I've got time. It may well give me the knowledge to implement what to do, but then I've got to do it. And most likely, I am making a contribution to their financial well-being with not much happening on my side because I underestimated or how much it's actually going to take of my effort, of my time, of my understanding. And it's nothing on the product. The product, I'm pretty sure, was awesome. It's just that I don't have the capacity right now to take it on. And so I am wasting my resources to buy that product. And yes, you might say, well, they're going to take it away. And if it was literally that important, then here's the solution. Buy the book again. You know, let's say they're running a good software like Deadline Funnel or something like that, that really does limit your ability to buy that after a set amount of time. 3 days later, it's like you can't buy it. Guess what you can do? Buy the book again, and then the software will reset because probably not expecting that. It's like, well, hang on, but if I'm spending 197 versus 207 as a percentage, it's nothing. And if it just means that at that time I do need it and I do want that information and I do have the capacity, then the extra $10, particularly if you don't just look at the 197 plus the $10, plus all of the effort and the time and the resources and the people that are going in there, another $10. Okay, great. I got 2 books. Who cares? As a percentage, that $10 is tiny. And yet they're not thinking about that. They're playing on people's ability to go, oh, I might miss out. But if you have no capacity to execute, you are wasting resources. Better to wait, rebuy the book when you do have the capacity, when you do have the resources, when you can see everything going on in your business and go, yes, this is a solution. This is a problem that I've got. This is a solution that I want. And I want to skip the learning curve and just buy what's proven to work and know that I can implement. So there's many advantages to this idea of a strategic dashboard. What is a strategic dashboard? It's literally the ability to see all of the work going on in your business. Now you might say, but there's so much going on. All of the results that we're producing, all of the steps that we're tracking, there's too much. I can't possibly look at that. There might be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 different items going on, let alone the archive of things that have already been done. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Looking at that much data, it's overwhelming. Instead, what you need is the ability to step back a step and just see the big picture. Now, in my world, that's a magic board. I want to see the magic boards that I'm running. How many have I got going? How many are overdue? How many have things due now? How do I progress these further through my world? But it's not the detail. It's not the templates and the do this and do that. It's not even tracking the results. It's just a high level view of everything that's going on. And so it does mean that all work gets tracked. All work ends up as a magic board. And some of it's very small. Some of it might only be one result. And I'm not even going to bother doing a process or SOP for that. I just want to track that one result. But still, click fast start. I've got my board. I put in my result. I mark it done. I move it to archive. So in my world, the things that we're working on are either active or they're flow. Now, active is most of the work where I can go through and complete it. It's possible to mark off everything being done. And when everything's moved and being done, guess what? It moves across the archive. And now I can see on my strategic dashboard what got done last week, what got done last 2 weeks, what got done last month, what got done last quarter. We can bring them all up in the archive and look and go, oh, wow, all of these things got done. And then there's a deeper question that you might want to ask is, well, did those move the needle? Because if all of those things got done, but we didn't make any more money, then we're not doing the right things. Stop doing that and change. But the idea of seeing everything allows you to know what's going on in your business. That these magic boards that track the SOPs and track the results can be shown at a high level. And all I'm seeing is a board and a board and a board and a board. And suddenly I can look and go, wow, I've got 4 boards that are active, or I've got 82 boards that are active. If you have 82 boards that are active and it's just you or it's you and a small team, guess what? You got a problem. Stop taking on so much stuff. Or you need to be able to increase the efficiency and effectiveness that you're getting things done. There's some problem there. That's a lot that's not moving, that's backlogged. And perhaps if you're in a bigger company and that's fine, like you got 25 people, there might well be 82. And you need to refine it down by who's responsible or which business area you want to see. But as the CEO or the business owner, your ability to see everything that's going on, what's being worked on, what's being done, this is a critical skill set. This is a critical data set for you to be able to see. And then you can make better decisions. Oh, we don't have enough people to do this amount of work. Our marketing team and our sales team are selling 20 and we're fulfilling on 5 each week. We got a 15 backlog. Okay, all right, let's get some more people across into fulfillment. We need 3 times as many people, 4 times as many people as we've got right now. We've got 5, we need 20. Or alternatively, we are clearing all of our fulfillment work very fast, but we're not selling enough. Guess what? Now you can see that you've got a sales problem. We need more resources into the front end to sell people. But the imbalances become far more obvious because you can see everything. I call it a strategic dashboard. How are you doing with this right now? If I asked you, what is going on in your business? I want to see everything going on. What are you bringing up? Are you bringing up a Google folder? Are you bringing up a Google Doc? Are you bringing up a series of spreadsheets? Are you bringing up multiple project management systems? Are you bringing up SOP systems? Are you bringing up a CRM? What are you bringing up? How are you able to see? Because the more systems that you've got for managing the work of the business, the more things you've got to be across in order to see everything. And this might be a really good solution if you're big enough. But the more, if you're not even aware that you're trying to see everything, then this opens up for things to be missed. Wastage, inefficiencies, errors. So that's the question for you. How do you see everything in your business right now? I'm going to suggest to you that having a consistent structure for the way that you do things in your business, ideally tracking both the steps or the instructions and the results, my recommendation on the same page, and then having an overview of each of those is the ability to see. And suddenly a lot of problems go away. You can know whether you are over-resourced. You can know whether you're under-resourced. You can know whether there's parts of your business that aren't working efficiently, that continually get backlogged. It's like, hey, why is it that we are still dealing with this? You can see things that should not have been done. It's like, well, I thought we canceled this. What's going on? Oh, yeah, you told us to, but we forgot to, so we executed on it. It's like, all of these problems go away. My suggestion, if you want some help with this, then head over to www.magicboards.io. We have software, we have consulting, we have coaching, depending on what you want. But this idea of the strategic dashboard, if you're not going to use Magic Boards, totally cool. You sort it out so you can see all of the work in your business, so that you can avoid the problems of entrepreneurial ADHD. You can avoid the problems of backlogs that never get resolved, of work that shouldn't be done, and that you can make better decisions for your business and for the people that you serve. That's all I got for you today. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. It's been a pleasure to see you. Thank you for your support for the Visible Workplace podcast. Hit the like, give us a rating, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's episode. See you then.
Thanks for tuning into the Visible Workplace podcast. Subscribe for more productivity tips and share with friends. We love your feedback, so please rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform. For more tips and tools, visit www.magicboards.io. Thanks again, and see you next episode. Disclaimer: the information and ideas discussed in this episode are general in nature and do not take into account your specific circumstances. You should seek specialist advice for any medical, financial, emotional, mental, or other difficulties that you are facing with appropriate specialists and professionals so that they can apply your specific circumstances and give you the required advice.